And welcome back, everybody. We are live with another Tuesday edition of the Prop Stars. Got my boy TJ over there. We're happy to be here. Just hang out, chop it up, man. TJ, welcome back, sir. Obviously, last night we had some NBA action. We did have a couple of games, Piston Cavs in a battle. Obviously, the Thunder just take care of business again. But let's talk about the team that we all know you want to talk about, a team who did not play last night, the New York Knickerbockers. Bro, they just clean up, handle business, roll through. Obviously, there's some injuries, but I know that it's got to feel good to see your position is being held for you as the other two teams battle. I'll let you take it from the top, man. Congrats.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chemistry going right now, right? And you could just see how the years go on, how cohesive these guys are getting with each other, and how I'm not gonna say Tibbs didn't make adjustments because he did, but it just seems like right now, the way Mike Brown's got it going on, there's just a lot of cohesion. And we've been lucky enough to stay healthy besides the OG hamstring. We were lucky enough. He was on the brink of playing, and I think they just sat him out because of the situation we were in. I think if we would have lost game 3, he would have been back game 4. But since we won game 3, we kind of rolled the dice there. But you just don't know where we're going to hit you. And it's just kind of crazy that when you're watching, I'm watching the Lakers and OKC yesterday, and the Lakers finally played a good game.
They were in it early. They were in it early and often.
Yeah. Redick should be called out for some of his player rotations. Not having Rui Hashimura in late. Also, he finally decided to play Jackson Hayes. I don't know why he hasn't wanted to play Jackson Hayes. But Jackson Hayes there's height there, there's depth. The point I'm trying to make is that when you're watching all these postseason games,
and Hashimura he's an energy boost, right? I mean, the guy just comes in, he flies all over the floor, and he's athletic. I mean, why not just get him juiced up? Go ahead. Exactly. You were saying late.
No, but there's just you're just watching these games, and there's an ease with teams. There's an ease on offense. There's a chemistry. There are plays getting designed. Like every time I saw OKC playing, it's like there's so many guys running around. It's never just SGA trying to take them one-on-one. He's like catching it and go. And it's kind of crazy. Like almost every pass, I'm going to look it up just to make sure I'm not going crazy. But he just knows where everybody is at all times. This is not a guy that he's a super athlete. We all know that. But this is a guy that just has it. He puts it all together. And the chemistry, the way OKC is just getting wide open looks all the time. And I feel like the Knicks are kind of heading that way too when it comes to
well, even whenever he's not wide open, the dude's drawing contact, he's at the line. And there's been a lot of rhetoric and talk about him going to the line and how some people are bitching and complaining because he's drawing fouls. Bro, that's part of the game. That's always been part of the game. That is what it is. I don't have any problem with the amount of free throws that SGA that he takes or that he took or that he has throughout his career. The guy draws contact. He knows how to get you off the dribble, and you got to stop him, bro. You got to play good defense. I mean, period.
OKC, I feel like the Knicks and OKC are the two teams when you watch on offense, there is just a lot of movement. The Knicks don't look as good as OKC, I don't think, when it comes to that aspect of it, but it kind of looks like they are on somewhat of a collision course. The Knicks are setting postseason records with the margins of victory. That can't be ignored. I mean,
it's a game been around for a while, and you guys are doing things that have never been done. It's pretty incredible.
Doing things that have never been done. The Celtics, who were the number 3, I think, on the chart, it was OKC and San Antonio. Then Boston was number 3 to win the NBA Finals. Sixers, which our buddy Jeff Schneider, I know a lot of people that know basketball that said it's a matchup nightmare. The Sixers are going to push the Knicks to the brink. These are people that know a lot about basketball, and Knicks just mollywopped them.
It could have if they would have.
There was one game that was semi-close.
Yeah, of course.
And we're going 10, 12 deep on our bench. So it's just interesting when you watch basketball how it's a poetry in motion. We always talk about on the show Golden State. I don't see it with the Cavs and Pistons. like the Cavs and Pistons, it has to be Cade
or Donovan,
Tobias, or it has to be Mitchell or Harden, right? It's no in between. They have to put on a show. Where OKC and the Knicks, you don't even know where it's going to come from. Right?
Don't you think it's kind of vital for Detroit to get Durant going, to get Thompson going? Like they got to get these other guys, like on a consistent basis with Cade to give Cade more room off the ball, right? And and it's the same thing with
they're not good enough. They're not good enough. Those guys are not good enough to create. And I don't mean that like they're not good enough to be in the NBA, but they're not good enough to create on their own. Honestly, the thing that scares me the most about the Pistons is LeVert. Literally, he is the guy that, and I'm not just saying that because he put up 24 points yesterday off the bench, but we all know Cade's going to do his
thing. He was non-existent in the Magic series, by the way.
He was not. I could have, when I heard his name, I didn't even realize he was on the team.
It's unbelievable, right? How they just didn't even have him in there. They were down 3-1, down 24 points, and you don't even hear Karis LeVert's name. And all of a sudden he comes out, gives them some moxie. The thing about Detroit, right? Don't you agree that they just kind of muck games up? And that they're like, they know they're defensive minded. They know they got to slow it down. They're trying to get you to score in the 90s, 80s.
Yeah.
It's kind of like old bad boys basketball. They know they're not as gifted with the pace offensively.
They are not. And yeah, they play defense. They play hard defense. They have like, I think Duran is not the best one-on-one defender, but the way he protects the rim. So you have Isaiah Stewart just banging bodies, and then you have Duran.
He's a goon too, bro, of course.
Yep. No, Detroit, I kind of want Detroit just because I want to punch them in their mouth, just because the narrative has kind of been, yeah, the Knicks might beat the Celtics, but they will not beat the Pistons. Pistons have kind of beat us up in the regular season a little bit, but this is a whole different Knicks team. And I remember like 2 months ago saying, I'm excited for the Knicks playoff run, but I just feel like every game is going to be a drag out, dog out. We're going to have to make shots late, and it's going to be all about Brunson. And I could not have been more wrong. I mean, literally, we're running almost a whole offense through Towns. Towns has such a quick release from the three-point line that defenders have to get up on him, which is really weird when you're a center and you have to guard a center that far up on him. But his release is so fast. What people don't understand is that it's opening up so many passing lanes because like your 7-footer can't really like back off. You have to get right on Towns or he will shoot 3 for 7 from 3. You know what I mean? Like, and
then your defense collapses, right? Yeah. If then the passing lanes are there and everything's open. I mean, y'all are literally.
Those are amazing numbers. And like, we're playing Brunson more off the ball. I heard this great stat. He's averaging like 150 less dribbles a game than he did last year. Now those numbers
are a great stat.
A great stat. I'll credit John Crane for that one, JC. But and I fact checked it too. Now those numbers are a little skewed because we're blowing teams out, so he's not playing as much. But it's not as sticky with the balls in his hand. And then you have Bridges, and of course you have OG. We know about Towns.
You remember it was in the Atlanta series when Brunson blew the game late and the ball was sticky in his hands. And I feel, and we talked about it, and they probably had that moment. They're like, look, this cannot happen at this juncture of the game where you crash the lane, you lose your dribble, and then you're just pivoting, trying to figure out where to go and throw a bad pass out. Like that, obviously, that hasn't happened since. And I think that was a big learning moment because it seems like everything really has loosened up.
Yeah. I think that, it was a moment where Brunson was probably just, and they've talked about it. And we said this last year.
What a great moment to learn from, though.
Yeah. Brunson's amazing. His footwork is incredible. And, he's just not like an SGA or anything or a Halliburton where he could just blow past every single person. But his touch around the rim, his footwork, we all know he's great. And now he's actually getting some open looks. And that's because of Towns. And we're just running the offense more through Towns. But this is the thing. Like I've said this. I said about the Magic too. But down the stretch, you have 5 guys that can all score. You have the team on roller skates, right? And it's just when you're watching OKC play yesterday, like everybody can shoot. And the spacing is so good that you just wonder why every team can't do it. You know what I mean? It's just, it is funny to watch. Like, I'm watching the Lakers. I'm like, all right, Austin Reeves looked amazing yesterday. The Lakers, LeBron looked good. Yeah, and you're just watching it, and you're like, man, what is like? How is OKC this much better? Now it was a close game yesterday, and Lakers, could have won a game or two, but we've been saying that about the Lakers for a while, though, right? Like then the Lakers got swept by the Nuggets like a year or two ago, and every game came down to the end. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
LeBron.
bad for them,
It's
man.
hard
They
to be
got
hard. LeBron's in his 40s, and
Yeah, but LeBron is not the problem, obviously.
And
He's
I hate
still
when they
got
talk
juice in
about
the
the point
tank.
differential. He's like minus 17 point differential yesterday, which I think was the worst on his team. But
Yeah.
like he's got to carry. That's just not a good
It's
roster.
a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of deficiencies he's trying to make up for single-handedly. And it's crazy because after Luka got traded there, number one, it was one of the most blindsiding, people say blockbuster trade. It's just crazy because like the Lakers obviously were just going for the star power and for the name because this unit, with some really integral pieces, has not been consistent. They haven't been great, and they haven't even been able to really compete with the top of the West. And like, sure, they did have a couple of moments, like you're saying, where they were competitive, but overall, man, it feel like this experiment at the end of LeBron's tenure was a failure. And sure, injuries definitely played a major part of that. But like you said, like it seems like JJ doesn't even have a real pulse on what he's doing. He's grasping at straws and he can't make the right combination of decisions. And this is somebody who's supposed to be the Billy Bean of basketball. He's all about analytics. He knows every advanced metric of every NBA team and player, and he prides himself on how much that he contains as knowledge, and he still can't apply it. I don't know. It's kind of wild. I think it is a coaching thing because they seem to have plenty of pieces in place, and you got to be able to. If you're watching other teams do more with less, then what is it really with your own squad?
And also, not to get on the topic, but OKC has got like 3 draft picks coming. Now,
Bro, they're rich.
I remember when the Lakers, when the Luka Anthony Davis trade happened. I remember
because we have to measure this team from then to then. You know what I mean? Like we have to.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it blowing up.
And I remember saying right away, it's obviously good for the Lakers long term if you want to have that superstar, right? Luka's, I think that kind of larger than life personality. People love him. He's somewhat polarizing, right? Because he isn't the best athlete and he somewhat doesn't always take amazing care of himself, which I think that's starting to change. That's just like a narrative that's always been pushed, but I just think not everybody is blessed with like body types. And I don't think he works as hard as he should, but is there ever enough? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I remember thinking that the Lakers were getting hurt by the trade right away, instantly, right? Because I don't think Luka and LeBron are a great mix together. LeBron and Anthony Davis were a great mix together because you just have 2 huge monster athletes that are also so great at so many things, right? Like they both have perimeter shooting. There's like a lot of things. Like LeBron's perimeter shooting has gotten better. But I don't know if you're Dallas right now. Do you hate the way this trade ended up? Like, first of all, Anthony Davis exploded, got hurt. He's gone, right? We all agree with that. But they wouldn't have had Cooper Flag, right?
Right.
And
Cooper Flag is the truth. The kid is going to be unbelievable.
That Cooper Flag might be a better player than Luka, right? Not right now.
Right. But in the next couple of years, depending on his projection or trajectory.
Is an amazing guy to build a team around. And I kind of think that they might be building a statue of the Mavericks GM. I forget his name, but
Nico Collins.
Yeah. And I'm just like, Nico what? Nico.
Or yeah, sorry, Nico Collins, the other guy.
But no,
that's football. I'm already ready for NFL.
Yeah. But I think that now you're looking at that trade and you're kind of like, ugh.
Rob, what's his name? I know you're in there. Where is he at, Rob?
But Luka looks like, I don't know. I don't know what the Lakers should do. If I was the Lakers, I would want LeBron back. I would want Luka healthy for a year. Let's see if the Luka, Reeves, LeBron James can work with the right pieces. I think if Luka was in this series, it would have been a better series. Right?
So what do you think? What do you think the Lakers, you think they need a big man to settle down low, to like defend, protect the rim, or do you think they need like more shooters and surround them with the Kennards and the Austin and the the Reeves. You know what I mean? Like, are we trying to like decorate shooters around them and bring in a couple more dudes?
They were hoping Ayton was going to be that guy. I think like they knew what
Ayton's
they were
so soft. Everybody who
doing.
saw that trade, we all knew that he was not the answer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be the answer, but I'm like, if Ayton's like the 5th best guy in the team, that could be like a pretty good team. I think. First of all, I think JJ Redick is seeing it's hard to coach in the NBA, right? I don't think he thought it was easy, but it's not like JJ Redick probably knows more basketball than anybody on the planet, but that doesn't mean. And some of his rotations are like crazy. Like I have literally watched Jackson Hayes play on that team for so long, and like throughout, and he doesn't get a chance. And then yesterday, they play him because they were getting out rebounded so bad that I think that. And Rob, if you want to come on the show, if you're not doing it, we'll talk. I don't think JJ Redick's a problem. Their center is bad. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, you put those 3 in, and I think a guy like Jackson Hayes is the kind of guy you want, an energizer bunny off the bench that will not take a bad shot. Yeah, I think JJ Redick I think he always wants shooters on the court, and he has to get height and understand that. Like Jackson Hayes was 6 for 8 from the field. He had 18 points.
Detroit went out and got a Duncan Robinson. I mean, there's shooters that are tall, lengthy, and that are available. I don't know if you're trying to go 3-and-D or just pure shooters with the 40% clip. Whatever you're trying to do, I just feel like they definitely should run it back, I think. I don't know. What do you think about LeBron? Is he staying? This is all the clamor. Is he going back to Cleveland? Is he going to stay here? Because he's done after this year, right? Contractually, like this is it.
Yeah, he'll be.
And if you're the Lakers, do you bring him back or do you just cut ties? Because it seems like they've been putting the messages out there, they're letting him go, and like now that it's kind of an ugly finish. And I know that the boys were talking on the chat yesterday. It's his 4th sweep. That's a longevity stat. No big deal.
Yeah,
nobody cares about that. But I know that for him as a competitor, like when you get swept, you're not done. You know what I mean? You're not going out like that. Like, so we know he's definitely playing. There's another act wherever he's going to go is just a question. Does he stay in LA? Do you want to stay in LA if you're LeBron? Or do you want to go to another team that's kind of built up to where they could use you, because it's always been predicated about LeBron going and then building around him.
I know. I mean, it would be kind of weird.
Because this is the era where he gets to fill in, right? Where you don't have to be first chair. You can sit back and let a couple other dudes and be a dude who can average a triple-double still. The guy can go 10, 10, and 10 if he wants. Or he can go 10, 10, and 6 and not be the point guard or the handler and just have some good passes.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. I don't know. I think I always side on the. I feel like every time I think something's gonna, I always think that it's never gonna happen. I always just think they're always gonna stay on the same team. Like I don't even know if Cleveland would want him. Like not like that, but I think he has to carry that $50 million salary. You know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how that works. Because I think LeBron would probably be like, "Hey, I'll play for free if I can get it." You know what I mean? Like a ring, but I don't think that's the way it's going to go down. I think he kind of wants to retire in LA. And
you think he does? This is what you think.
I think that even though he brought a championship to LA, it's kind of a little bit of an asterisk because it was a COVID year.
It's a bubble.
Which is unfortunate because a championship's a championship, and that wasn't his fault. But let's move on. What about Wembanyama?
I was going to say, let's talk about the Spurs. They're in a dogfight. For the first, I think it's really, we've seen nothing but, I think, great character from Victor Wembanyama up to this point. I think that he's been understanding the gravity of his position as the face of the league, as being somebody who Shaq has already called the perfect center. And there's a lot of great words that are used to describe him and his game and the future as long as he stays healthy. This was a situation where they're playing a T-Wolves team who plays him tough. They get physical with him. I think that is the answer to play Victor as a Spurs fan. I think you do got to get physical with him because he's a little bit smaller. And I think it's a great opportunity for them to muscle and bully him. And he got caught. Jaden McDaniels hits him, and he like looks down and sees Naz Reid and throws an elbow. I think he's lucky he did not get suspended. The intent was there. It's malicious. And I think that the NBA doesn't want to have egg on their face saying that this was the difference of the series and why the Spurs didn't make it. They suspend him for the rest of the game, and then he's allowed to play tonight, right? So I thought.
I agree. Yeah, I think. No, go on, finish.
No, so I think, pardon me, with Victor actually letting that first moment of human reaction kind of set through. Never seen him really lose his cool. Never seen him really get too pissed off or too much of an attitude to throw an elbow like that. And I think it was the first time that we've seen anybody really get under his skin. And I think that was understanding the gravity and the pressure that's on him, because when he's not in that lineup, it's a very different lineup. They don't have the size. You're not going to sit there and be able to lean on, Keldon Johnsons and these other people whenever Victor's not in there. And there's obviously the trickle down effect. But I think that it was the first time that he lost his cool, and I think he'll be fine. I don't, think that he's going to be a Draymond by any sense of the mean, where he's always, getting teed up and losing his shit and yapping and barking. I think that he got caught up with the moment. He was frustrated, and I think that he'll learn from it. But it cost him his team the game, 100%. And this is something that if you do get to make it through and play OKC, you would be lucky. And if you didn't, we can definitely look back at this game and be like, well, that was a very much crucial point that turned on him, because you got the Timberwolves. They're not scared by any means, and they're playing fearless, and AE is fired up. Naz Reid is playing like the cheat code. We all know Naz Reid is, like whenever he's playing well and he wants to be offensive. And then I think McDaniels is just an X factor in that. And
Rob, you think that he would get suspended if he was like a Naz Reid? Let's say it was the other way around, and Naz Reid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
100%.
He would have been yoinked, bro. We all know why he didn't get suspended.
Yeah, it would have been a 1-game suspension. I think
if they would have won that game, I think if the Spurs would have won the game and went up 3-1, they would have suspended him.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good take. That's a good take.
Yeah, I would say that Adam Silver took the reins here and was like, now the Spurs roster is loaded without Wembanyama. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, Castle, who's going to be a 10-time All-Star. Even like their backups, they have depth at backup. So like,
I mean, they got Champagne, they got other dudes. I'm just saying their size definitely gets smaller.
Oh yeah, of course. When you take
without Victor, because he is he's not only their big, he is the big, right?
No, I've never seen a guy in my life affect the game the way he affects the game, and he's only been in the league 3 years. I think that when it comes to Wembanyama, he finally had to put his foot down and was just like, hey, I'm not going to keep on getting bullied. Like
They're throwing him down every
great athlete kind of had like a, like even though they weren't the best of friends, like Shaq could protect Kobe, and nobody messes with Steph Curry, right? Because they know Draymond Green is going to punch you in the face, right? It's just the way it works. And with Jordan, he had like the Rodmans, and like he had a lot of guys protecting him.
I'll never forget when that first time I saw Shaq punch somebody. It was like a soft punch. He was a Magic at the time, and like literally the dude just like spun, and it wasn't even a hard. I'm like, damn, why would you ever want to piss off the big fella? You know what I mean? Like it just really makes you think, like, would you get that far beyond the game to piss somebody off,
And like you are taught, like when you grab the rebound, you go high elbows, right? And like the whole point is that you do that so people stop trying to grab the ball and get like a jump ball or just grab it from you. So you go, him. But obviously Wembanyama, like the play was over, and then he went.
He's still just like,
and his boy,
he looked right at him.
He looked right.
Wound it up.
He thought it was him.
His boy Harper didn't do him any favors in the background too, because you could see his going.
And you can see Naz Reid was like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Like,
Harper was shocked. It was like, did he really just do that?
Yeah, I remember walking around like, and I'm just like, man, why is it such a good game? Like, I just thought that Spurs would kind of run away with it. And I didn't realize, we're running around doing stuff. And I'm like, so then I locked in. And then when I watched the replay, it's just so bizarre how much Wembanyama affects everything on offense and defense. And he's so long. He had a play in game 3 where he like dribbled and he spin moved. And it looked like he was going to kind of spin move and like lay it up. But there was 2 defenders there and he kind of spin moved and faded back. And it literally looked like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, like the way they used to just like the quick twitch and like the stop, pull. And then you're like, how tall is Wembanyama? How tall is he? Like, I know
7'5".
7'5". I thought he was taller than that. Well, he was just giving credit about the dream shake and his training with Olajuwon and like
exactly. It was very Olajuwon-esque. Yeah, he's 7'4",
and he had a little shimmy, little spin, and then had his little fadeaway right there. And you know how Paul Pierce used to have the one leg hanger? How he used to put his knee out there, and then like you just could never stop it. With that distance. When Wembanyama puts his leg up, bro, it's like 9 feet of bubble. I mean, it's stupid how far his leg goes.
And that's what like Dirk Nowitzki used to do too, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Dirk, man. That when you put your leg up, you gotta stop him.
I mean, you could teach it because he got taught, but it's fascinating on how Wembanyama has been groomed at a young age. Like I saw this, it was like a 30-minute video on. They knew when he was like 12 or 13 how he was going to grow at a very fast rate. So he's constantly like getting these workouts done on his like foot muscles and like he's getting like
being disaster, bro. What Yao never did,
Yeah, it's like bone work because something that's so small for us, like a little muscle that might not affect us as much. His muscle is, you don't want to say twice as big, because if I'm 6 foot, he's not 12 feet, but there's muscles that are bigger on him and his bones are bigger and he's growing at a different rate. And it's a mad science on how to keep him healthy so he can be like the greatest athlete of all time. But Wembanyama has surrounded himself with people, and I don't know, obviously it couldn't have just been him because he was so young at the time, but they knew what he was going to become, at least at minimum, right? So they've been massaging and doing all these crazy things to make sure that injuries that people at 7'5" get, he won't get as much, right? I definitely think Adam Silver had a hand in saying, hey, we're not suspending Wembanyama. Like, I think that was a call right from him saying,
it had to be, dude. There's no way.
This is a Wembanyama moment where he had to kind of put his foot down, and he didn't just do it unprovoked, right? Like there's 2 guys kind of all over him. They weren't unfairly all over him, but this is just a thing where
this series, like this playoff run, I've seen Wembanyama hit the deck 8, 9, 10 times. I mean, like hard falls.
They've just been throwing him around.
Nasty falls. You know what I mean? Yep. Like he's taking contact, he's getting banged. And I think there has to come to a point where you're letting people know, like, look, I'm not gonna throw an elbow at every time, but I'm not gonna put up with it. I'm no bitch. And I'm not gonna sit there and take it. And I think like you said, there has to be some point where every great athlete kind of defines themselves as, I'm not going to be pushed around. And I wonder if this is that turning moment, because I would imagine the Spurs probably win big tonight. I don't even think it should be close. I think the Spurs should win big. I think they should come out, be electric. And if it goes as the script should, then they should be able to close them out in 6.
I would be shocked if this was a game. What do you think, Rob?
I got the Spurs tonight by at least 15.
Let's see what ESPN
10.5 is the line.
Okay, 10.5's the line.
218 and a half. I like the over.
I think that the NBA, and who cares what the NBA wants, but I think OKC and Spurs is what everybody wants to see.
Everybody wants to see it, dude.
As a Knicks fan, I'm very happy I don't have to run through both of those teams, right?
Sure, yeah.
You just got to run through one. But the way OKC has looked and the way the Spurs have dominated OKC in the regular season, right? I'm assuming Jalen Williams will be back, right? So I think that we're kind of looking at a collision course. Now, what does Anthony Edwards have to say about that?
Right.
The way McDaniels has came in, just how offensive he looks and how good. And tip your hat to the Minnesota coach, because this isn't the most amazing roster, but
No,
with
but they're a
Julius
grimy
Randle
team.
and Anthony Edwards,
They
they
give the
got
Nuggets problems. They give the Spurs problems. Like they definitely have enough to be formidable against any matchup. It doesn't matter. Anthony Edwards is the truth.
I will say, like you said, the NBA definitely wants Spurs Thunder, because we saw how Thunder Wolves went last year, and there's not much reason to think it's going to go any better this year.
No. Yeah. And I just don't know how the Spurs lose. The Spurs are so deep too, man. They've constructed a good roster, and it's just so crazy how the lottery falls into their hands, right? Wembanyama, Tim Duncan, they got Kawhi Leonard.
Robinson
They got him.
before that. They had the
yeah.
Admiral before that, right?
They got 3 top 4 picks in a row, and now the NBA says that that's not even happening anymore.
That is
You're
true,
not even
though.
allowed to get 3 top 5 picks in a row anymore with that new deal.
Isn't that crazy? Like, I forget the Spurs were like the pits of the NBA for a couple years in between the Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, and then the Wembanyama phase. Like, I just, like, as you say that, Rob, it's like I kind of forgot that, like, how bad the Spurs were. And then when they made the De'Aaron Fox move, I'm like, is that going to be like the needle changer? And I think it is, because like Wembanyama, obviously, but that was a draft pick. You know what I mean? But like they kind of trade. I think they were just like, look, we got to just surround Wembanyama with stars now. When did
I wouldn't be surprised if Fox gets traded this summer.
Yeah, I mean, Castle is
the way Castle and Harper are both looking.
Yeah, bro. That's the future.
Yeah, but like I still think this year they need Fox to win a championship. I don't think I just think that De'Aaron Fox is that guy they need to put him over the edge. Obviously, Wembanyama's their star. When did Castle go? I know he was a top 5 pick, right?
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so he went 4th overall. This guy is turning into like a superstar.
Yep.
I mean, God, they have so much depth with what Buff
Champagne
earlier.
Yeah. Devin Vassell.
They got Vassell. Vassell's been a beast.
Cornette.
Cornette. And they still got Johnson.
Do you remember when it was like 3 years ago?
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, and he's a little thin, but he's a shooter.
Oh my God, they're showing highlights right now on ESPN. How Kendrick Perkins was such a bully and how he was like LeBron's protector.
Yeah.
And like they're showing LeBron, like LeBron, I just saw it. He had a baby face, had to be 20 years ago. And LeBron's just dribbling past half court and Perkins sets a pick and this guy just gets clobbered, right? It's just important. Now, I don't know if Wembanyama needs a protector because he's like 7'5", but it's important like to kind of have one of those guys like Isaiah Stewart probably is for Cade.
It is 100%.
Yeah, you got to have one of those guys that kind of regulates.
And if it's not Wemby, then you let Keldon Johnson go out and take a suspension for 1 game and just deck somebody. You know what I mean? Like send him out there and just like bring an elbow.
Yeah, no. So like 3 years ago, Keldon Johnson was like the star of this team. I remember because on FanDuel, I used to always pick him because I'm like, he's like the only guy that could kind of do a little bit of everything. He's battled like weight issues and stuff like that.
Undersized power forward.
Yeah. But he's now he's like their, I don't know, like 6th,
7th man. He's like, 7th, 8th man, actually. But yeah. Because it's like funny because they got Champagne and Champagne does a lot of the same things that he does, like same position and everything. It's just
I can be honest with you. As a Knicks fan, I think that we dispose of the Cavs and the Pistons pretty quickly. But I am so excited to see if it is Spurs versus OKC. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just going to be one of those legendary. I just can't imagine either team.
Well, honestly, man, I think OKC deserves it too, man, because they had the run last year. All the wins, right? And they were so hot this year to start it off. They got the title, but they were pushed to Game 7, a couple of Game 7s. People will still talk about how the Thunder got a little bit tight, and that series probably shouldn't have been 7 games, right? Like they should have probably finished it earlier, but they got a little tight on a couple of games. That's how the NBA goes, man. Pressure. I think that OKC needs to be measured in such a way where, you know, it was kind of like the Nuggets series last year. And you kind of felt like it was the Nuggets are a little bit on the down with some of their players because you could never get certain people healthy and whatnot, like MPJ or whatever his name is, but Michael Porter Jr. You do have like this opportunity with a healthy Spurs team. And then if they get Williams back and a healthy Thunder team, this is like the heavyweight matchup. This is the one team that gave the other team a problem. The one team who looks inevitable that actually has a real chance to lose. Because if it's the Timberwolves, everybody's just, it's not even something that we want to concern ourselves with. Obviously, we're going to watch it, and maybe the Wolves has something to say about it. Maybe the Thunder get a little bit tight, and the Wolves make it competitive, but nobody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see Wembanyama against SGA. I want to see that matchup. I want to see the way that everything shifts around with Chet Holmgren down low whenever they're sitting there banging bigs, because that's another thin dude who stretches it, right? I mean, there's just a lot of matchups. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of star power. I think it has everything that the NBA is looking for. That's why I want to see it too, 100%.
And then, Rob, talk me through this because you know more details. How did OKC get Jared McCain? Like,
man,
I don't even understand. This is like an up and coming star from Duke.
I didn't even understand it when it happened. The Sixers traded him for, I think it was a second round pick.
Okay, 3 future second round picks. Hold on.
They traded him for a bunch of second round picks so that they could duck the tax.
For a 2026 first round pick via Houston. Okay, so that's one of them. So one of the picks. Just
and then on top of that, not only do you trade him for a bunch of second round picks, you give him to the best team in the NBA.
Yeah,
it already has a plethora of young talent. It just doesn't make sense.
And who still has a plethora of draft picks, and they're still rich when it comes to this game right now.
Now
they didn't even give up a first; they gave up a bunch of seconds. For a guy that went almost in the lottery.
No. But Philly does get the 2026 first round pick from Houston, but that pick we knew would not be super valuable, right? Because
Houston was in the playoffs.
Yeah, so it shows now that's a 22nd pick. Man, ChatGPT is kind of insane, but they've already updated what pick they are going to have, give or take 2022. It's going to be 22 or 23. Now, they're saying that Daryl Morey, the GM of the Sixers, was hoping to sell high on Jared McCain and gain assets, but he was criticized for the lack of depth after losing the rookie contract card. Like, I understand that it's not an amazing fit because Maxi's so ball dominant, but like, look what McCain is doing right now for OKC. Like, he's literally coming off the bench as a spark plug, and like him and Caruso are weirdly like playing so well together.
I mean, what do they not want to do? Jalen Brunson, Luka thing where they couldn't decide on who's bringing the ball up type, you know? I think at some point you just need the talent to be out there. And the Sixers, they're desperate, bro. This is like the last closing window. Like, you know, Embiid, he had like leg problems. He was like sore ankles, sore knee. Like, this dude's window is closing quickly. This is the centerpiece of that franchise. And if not this year, right, this was supposed to be the year they were a matchup nightmare for everyone in the East. And I thought if Embiid was healthy, they'd give everybody hell. And you just couldn't. And then here they are again. And now you're looking in retrospect, you're losing your assets. It's a problem, dude. Like, Philly's falling off, and they're like, they're gonna have to figure out some way to reload because they do not have any.
Philly's done. Philly's done, but I just think they could have, with like McCain on a rookie contract, kind of built up. Now, if they wanted to,
I just don't get it. They traded him when his value was the lowest.
Yeah, when he was hurt too, right? Yeah, exactly. You could have played him for a year, right? Like,
that's just franchise malpractice.
I mean, but they did get a first round pick. What pick did McCain go? He was first. Okay, so he went 16th overall in 2024.
He went 16th. He came out. He looked like he was going to win Rookie of the Year until he got hurt.
Oh, he was, yeah. And he looks.
And then you just trade him in his second season. Doesn't make any sense.
To the Thunder.
Yeah,
to the Thunder.
To the Thunder, bro.
let's just see McCain's stat line yesterday. I was watching the game and I'm just thinking, how the fuck do they have Jared McCain? Like,
if I'm a team like the Magic, I'm making calls on McCain, Cason Wallace, all of those guards that the Thunder have. Because they can't keep all of them.
To collect more assets.
The Thunder got to make some trades because they can't keep all these guys.
Yeah, we were talking to
get rid of Suggs.
Yeah, we were talking to our friend of the show, Mike Procopio, Eric Langen's buddy, and he said pretty much the Thunder are set up for one of the most historic runs in NBA history. And he says not only do they have, one of the best players in the NBA, but they have just a load of assets and a GM that he used the term, I think, relentless he just never stops. And after he wins 70 games, what's up, Eric? They're just going to keep on going. But the way it was like a paragraph, I wish I could read it verbatim, but the way he talked about the OKC Thunder are just like, it is a juggernaut. On that note, though, let's keep in mind they were probably a Halliburton injury away from not even you can't start a dynasty until you win a championship. Right?
100%.
And I just think that
you know what's crazy about last year too? The Thunder, they were kind of wavering, and there was a couple moments that it looked like they could have lost, and they kind of found themselves. And what a total difference that is once you win, and it's off your shoulders, and you're into the next season, and now you're defending, and you're looking great, and it's like just easier for them to focus. Seems like that pressure now, monkey's off their back, and now they're more dangerous this year than they were last year. I think 100%.
They are. One other thing I've really noticed a lot lately, watching all these games, is the great teams are not going through droughts. Like when you watch the Knicks and OKC, the way they move the ball, there's just too many open looks. Like everyone wants to talk about how the Magic missed 23 straight shots. 19 of those 23 were locked up defensively. So it wasn't like I pushed the narrative too a little bit because you did miss 23 shots. NBA players make contested shots, but like they were not good looks. See what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Where you watch the Knicks and OKC, Spurs, they're still kind of. I think they're like Spurs. No one believes that the Spurs have even come close to hitting their peak yet. OKC has hit their peak. They're on their peak. Knicks are on the peak right now. They're playing the best basketball that they could ever possibly play. But both of those teams, they don't go through the scoring droughts because of the way everything, it's the chemistry of the team. I'm not even going to say the offenses they run because I'm not going to pretend to know that much, but it's just watching them on TV. Game 1, they win 137-98. Game 4, we put up 144. There's no droughts. And watching a Celtics team, the one thing Celtics could do is score at least. Sixers were, giving them hell on defense, right? So it's not like the Sixers are a horrible defensive team. But the point I'm trying to get at is, the Spurs have dominated OKC in the playoffs. I still think OKC is the favorite because OKC is going to score, but OKC is also known for their great defense. You know what I mean?
They're known for that explosive third quarter, turning a defensive play into instant offense, right? That's literally how they make their name.
Yeah. And you just surround yourself. It's just so easy to say, again, our buddy Eric says the Magic would be good if they could shoot. That's kind of like it's a kind of a funny thing to say, right? Because it is true, and it's easy to say, surround yourself with shooters. But the Magic couldn't go get Klay Thompson because Klay Thompson wanted $40 million a year. Right? That's not worth. You cannot pay Klay Thompson that. You know what I mean? For, at this stage of his career, one-trick pony.
You got to go grab those young dudes.
But OKC, it just seems like looking at their roster, like I'm just looking at it. Like Dort is a shooting specialist. Mitchell, strokes. Caruso, strokes. Isaiah Joe, all he could do is shoot. Cason Wallace is a three-point gunner. McCain, three-point gunner. Is Jared McCain always been a good three-point shooter? Because I know he's more of that. Yeah.
He could shoot the hell out the ball for sure.
Yeah, so he's really close to 40%. I mean, all these guys are just I'm just gonna look. Cason Wallace.
Pretty much all of them except Dort.
Dort's the lowest of their, and he
Yeah,
still
Cleveland
comes out and
Wild
is
is still
whapping
good.
threes every time we look up in the playoffs. It's always Lagoons. Everybody's out, Lou. Like what?
Yeah, and
Bro
like
is like
Dort's 30,
the worst player
Dort's
ever picked in DFS
35%.
on a consistent basis. I hate him.
No, yeah, I guess I've always put Dort in that category. I know he's like, not, but he's still 35%.
He's just sold me so many times, and then you watch him in an IRL, and here he is just balling out, just hitting major open threes for a team. It's crazy.
I do love it because he's like 35%, which is not a great percentage, right? But he still shoots 6 threes a game. Think about that mentality. Like you're just kind of like I
he's
feel
only
like
one away from hitting 40%, bro. Like he's one away.
Yeah, if you ask, say hi. But if I think if you ask Dort, he'd be like, I'm like 45. I just been unlucky because like, how do you shoot 6 threes a game? Like I have buddies I used to play street ball with.
Shoot, baby, shoot or shoot.
Yeah, I used to have buddies I played street ball with. The confidence they had, and they were always going 1 for 10. But in their mind, they only remembered that one. Where me, when I'm like 2 for 6, I remember the 4 I missed. It's an amazing.
Langen's giving you a shout out about the LeBron hat that you're wearing. Right
yeah,
there.
I mean, Eric, I love the guy. I love Jordan. As a Knicks fan, he's the second greatest player in NBA history, and I love him. And I hate LeBron. I don't hate LeBron, but I don't love LeBron. But the guy's Ben Wallace with, that shoots 40% from 3. Like, I don't even – and he could pass like Magic Johnson. Like, I don't – I mean, LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. I hate to say it.
And he's still playing.
And also, I always say that they're like, okay, do you guys know that LeBron got swept 4 times in his career? Okay. Got swept 4 times in his career.
Right.
But like, if that was anybody else, they would have lost to Houston. LeBron was good enough to get them past Houston. You know what I mean? To only run into, as Mike Procopio says, one of the greatest teams of all time.
Yeah, juggernaut.
Yeah, that's another thing. You look at, he got swept in 07 against the Spurs team. Nobody else is getting that Cavs team to the finals.
Oh, that
he got swept in 2018 by the Warriors. Nobody else is getting that Cavs team to the finals.
Mo Williams and Delonte West, I think, were like the
right. Yeah.
Number 2 and 3. And I think was that
Delonte West was found on the road homeless or something shortly after his life.
Yeah, that's crazy. A sad story. Also, one thing we forgot to bring up, Donovan Mitchell, 39 second half points yesterday.
Oh, yeah. That's ties the NBA franchise record with who? Sleepy who? Rob?
Sleepy Floyd ties the NBA record. Points in a second half in a playoff
39
game.
points in a second half. Yeah, that's an eruption, though. And if they don't get that from him.
And he missed one of those last 2 free throws. If he would have made both at the line, it would have been a clean 40 in the second half.
What do you
guys
We've seen
Don do this, though, right? He had a big scoring outburst. It was, a couple years ago? And just went berserk, dropped like a 60-burger or something like that, right?
Who do you think wins that series?
Playoff high.
It's a best out of 3 series now. Who do you think closes it out?
I mean, Detroit's got home. I think they got home court and they got the defense, man.
Detroit because of home court. The Cavs are like a team full of rookies. Like you would not expect a veteran team to be this bad on the road. I don't get it.
And James,
is James Harden never going to give you what you expect from James Harden and a great player that he is, and the reason why you brought him in? Like this is the problem with them.
Yeah, and I've never been a James Harden playoff fan. I always say he's one of the best regular season players of all time. But Harden, game 3 and game 4 at home, has looked amazing.
6-0 at home, 0-5 on the road.
And Harden got them out to like a big lead early. They were up like 11 in the first 5 minutes.
I guess the point that I'm trying to say is they're going to have to, like, Detroit even had the lead. They were battling in Cleveland. For Cleveland to go into Detroit, it's going to take a lot of focus and a lot of made shots for them to keep it.
I think Cleveland ends up finding a way to beat them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think that the one guy that's been really disappointing to me, and the stats aren't really showing it, is Mobley. He's real soft, and he's got like soft hands too. He's great on defense as like a secondary defender, like or actually even a first defender, but he's great at like help side protecting the rim and stuff like that.
Him and Allen.
I feel like him and Duran are kind of the same player when it comes like defense. Okay, hold on. And then let's see, Mobley was 1 for 4 from 3, 6 for 11 from the field, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Jared Allen had 5 rebounds and 9 points in 32 minutes.
And that's a little bit low burst production. I feel like they definitely need more out of their bigs to, to get through that. But that credits the defense of Detroit and what they're doing down low with Duran and Stewart. Like, they're just goons that are clogging up the lane and not letting these skinnier, thinner dudes like bully him. That's exactly what it is.
Harden scored 24 points. All of his field goals were 3-point shots. He had 0 rebounds. He was 9 for 9 free throws, and he had 11 assists with only 2 turnovers. So, like, remember Darius Garland was the point guard, right?
Right.
But they wanted to bring another, like, James Harden. He's one of those guys. You ever watch James Harden shoot an open three-pointer?
Yeah.
He never misses.
Right.
Like, it is unbelievable. Like, I feel like Harden and Steph Curry are the 2 guys. If you put them in a gym, they've probably done it before, but they might just go 50 in a row each, just trade off. Bam, bam, bam. But the problem with Harden is his shot selection, and he needs to shoot more. So Harden,
he loves that step back. That's his signature move. You know what I mean?
There was 2 shots yesterday early on. One was off an offensive rebound, and Mobley just caught it and just threw it to him. And Harden stepped in, and that thing like swished like a Kevin Nash swish back in the day. Like the whole net snapped. Then the next possession, another 3, open look. It was just amazing to see. It's cool to see great shooters get good looks when those are the guys that are never getting open looks. It's like when Steph Curry, when the ball rolls to Steph Curry on an offensive rebound, and he's just like, it's kind of like it almost catches him off guard. And Steph Curry,
shout out to Kevin Nash, big sexy with the power bombs. Boom.
No, but it's just kind of cool to see. Cavs, I think if they lose, it won't be because of Mitchell or Harden. I think it's going to be. I feel like Max Strus is kind of like the guy that is taking on that aggressive approach because I don't know. I just don't feel like Mobley.
As darling, Max Strus. Love that guy.
I'll say I think it's going to come down more to Harden than you think.
Harden's got to play good on the road. Bro. He's got 2 more games on the road.
First 2 games.
No,
like, this is what, year 17? Like, eventually you got to step up in the playoffs.
Also, this Sam Merrill dude, I know everyone's like swearing he's like the greatest shooter of all time. That guy, man, I don't know. He's not scared to pull. He was 2 for 7 from 3, not horrible. Man, like he catches the ball, he shoots it like he's a Hall of Famer. And I'm like, bro, whip it around. Like, and also this guy, Dean Wade, what a waste. I mean, I shouldn't say a waste, but
when you're looking at that rotation, you're not looking at the depth, bro. You know what I mean? The Pistons got more depth than they do. They got more guys, and maybe you can put a comparable. They got a very nice offensive prowess for the Cavs. That's what they're known for. But when you take that show on the road and your depth is thin, just give me the Pistons, bro.
Yeah.
Just give me the Pistons. Pistons and Knicks, man. It's going to be the Pistons and Knicks, and I think that their defense is going to give you some matchup problems,
Yeah. Let's move on really quick to the NFL. A little bit of controversy right now, right? With the Chiefs Broncos opening day. NFL hasn't released a full schedule yet.
Right, but they did release some opening day games. Got 3 of them that are headlining. One of them being the Chiefs Broncos, talking about Bo Nix. They said that he's going to play from his broken ankle in the play that they should have never made it through. The Bills should have been in the playoffs advancing, but somehow that play was not an interception, and you said it was. So obviously we're just going to accept that because it's history now and move on. And Bo Nix will be playing game 1 against the Chiefs. And then Pat Mahomes is ahead of schedule for his knee and his ACL, whatever it is. They say he's going to play. So, yes, there is some potential talk that both starting quarterbacks in the divisional opening game. Do you like divisional games, game 1? Because we also, Cowboys and Giants, are gifted with a divisional game
Yeah,
in
a
the
lot of
opening
times they
week of
take-
football. How do you feel about that? Having a divisional game? Because we all know divisional games are the most important. They mean to.
Well, first, I'm going to cut you off by saying I'm hearing opposite reports of what you're hearing. And I'm hearing it's going to be Jarrett Stidham versus Justin Fields week 1. And that's what all fans are terrified of. They're taking off work. They're putting their kids to sleep early.
Stidham is the guy, right? Like, I mean, Stidham's the one who wins that matchup, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. Stidham.
I mean, he has all of this love from Peyton. They were talking about how he's just so good as Peyton's guy.
Stidham had a very good first drive of that game, and it all fell apart, my man. And I mean, easy for me to say sitting on my couch, but I think that.
Well, it's a disaster if neither one of them start, right?
I just don't see why the NFL would take that chance. Like, why are you taking that risk?
Mean, I guess it depends on what source you're reading. It looks like they're both going to play.
Yeah, but
you're saying no? I mean,
can we at least agree that there's a risk that they won't play?
Oh, well, not only that, but there's a risk that you're like playing two nasty defenses right off and that are all healthy. And you're like putting these dudes out there just off of injury. Like, do you want to start them if you're a little iffy?
Yeah. I also saw this great behind the scenes video of how the Giants were just so shocked that the Browns went Tate, or not the Browns, the Titans, right?
Yeah, Cornelius Tate.
The Titans.
Arnell Tate. Yeah, I think he went to the Titans.
Yeah, so the Giants were in shock because they were just already assuming Arvell Reese was getting off the board. And then the Browns went, instead of Maui, they went that guy from Utah, Spencer Fano. You know what I mean? So I was just shocked to see, like, the Giants were shocked to see how Maui wasn't the first tackle taken off the board or first lineman. Let me see. But
yeah.
So that's pretty cool to watch.
So we got a little bit of uncertainty with the Chiefs and Broncos. The other game, you saw there's an opening game in Australia, which is kind of cool, obviously, and that is the Niners and Rams. Of course, another divisional game, opening week in Australia. Obviously, we have the whole McVay being upset with the draft pick thing, and the Niners. Christian McCaffrey still going as one of the top picks in all of fantasy after that workload last year. And God, like, it wasn't as much as Saquon of the year before, but I'm so nervous for a McCaffrey pick, especially because, like, every mock that I've been seeing, and, I mock way too early. That's what I love to do. Every mock that I'm seeing, like, running backs are just dominating every round right now. And everyone's trying to get your hands on these running backs. Doesn't matter if it's Jeremiah Love at the end of or beginning of the second, all the way down to, like, trying to find value. People are there's running back names that are starting to come up that people are going to be talking about that are going to be good value picks. But the beginning of the draft it's all heavy running back usage. And it just really makes you think, like, if you end up with a McCaffrey, like, you definitely have to take another running back, God forbid.
When's Christian McCaffrey going?
Like, top 5 picks, top 6 picks. He's still right there.
McCaffrey is just so risky, man. He's
right, but I mean, last
all
year
the
I've only drafted him twice ever. 1 year I was burned. 1 year he won me a title. Isn't that McCaffrey? You know what I mean? Like, that's literally Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's always crazy to see. I know I've looked this up on the show a lot, but how old is he?
If I'm a guess, I think, what is he, 30.5? I'm a guess.
29. Oh, okay. No, he's turning 30 in a month.
Okay, so he's about to be 30. He's 29.9.
Yeah, you were close. Yeah, that's risky territory, right?
But he's a focal point in that offense. And the argument that I heard is because he's missed a couple of years, he still has that tread on his tires. Yeah. So he's still going to be a volume king, which is what rules fantasy. It's volume.
Yeah. I think that it worried me last year because he didn't have a lot of long gains, right? It was like
his
It
yards
was
per carry were
volume.
way down. I think the worst of his career.
Yeah, it was volume and touchdowns. So
And receptions.
That's usually
Lots of
the
receptions.
start, right? But that offense wasn't super sexy either, right? They had their games with like Purdy to Kittle. That one game where Purdy threw like 4 touchdowns, and maybe it was more than that.
If
We had
they
a
could
4
get
touchdown first
some
half.
sort of receiving core going, then you could see McCaffrey opening up. And maybe that's what Shanahan's telling him, right? Like, look, just like keep eating your quinoa, bro. We're going to get you open. Like everything. We need you to stay healthy. Like they got to scheme around it so they can get them in all those space.
Is Mike Evans going in the first 5 rounds? Yeah.
Depending on how you value him, yeah, I think that's like right where Mike Evans is being put. I mean, it's like really like between rounds 5 and 7 because there's just other dudes that could have a lot more upside. But if you love a dude who you know is going to be, I don't know, if I'm going to give you a Mike Evans stat line for this next year, I would say Mike Evans is going to be like 60 catches, 65 catches, 700 to 800 yards, and like 8 touchdowns. Like
which
I think
would be
he's
his
going to
worst season, which would be his worst season ever.
Right. I don't think he gets 1,000. I think he has 8 touchdowns, and I think that you're just going to see. Only way I see him exceeding those expectations, number one, he has to stay healthy, but other people have to go down around him for him to kind of catapult further up into that offense.
He is an upgrade from Jawan Jennings, though, and Jennings probably had those pretty close to those numbers. But yeah,
in the Niners, yeah, their receiving core isn't that strong.
So Pearsall, Evans,
and Kittle,
and
McCaffrey. And there's somebody else that's over there. There's one other receiver.
Crazy, Jawan Jennings hasn't. Oh yeah, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, and they got Kirk, and Kirk's supposed to be he's having a good camp. People are talking about he's doing good, and he has a good camp everywhere he goes. We always hear him.
No, yeah, Kirk's a very good receiver. That it's hard to play receiver in the NFL.
Well, it's just all right. So you're looking at this receiving core, and obviously Kittle, McCaffrey, Evans, Jennings, Pearsall, Kirk, right? With these dudes, does that put Brock Purdy as that sleeper quarterback again? Going to be around 10 to 12, who could throw 35 touchdowns, throw for 3,800 yards. I mean, he's and still probably run in for like 2 to 3 sneaky ones with his legs. He always kind of has a couple sneaky. I mean, that's crazy value. And an offense that's one of the best coaches that's running offenses. I mean, I don't know. He kind of peaked a few years ago where he was making it into the 6th round-ish, right? And then it just never really worked out. And I think that people are feeling burned by him. I think him and Kyler Murray, who has a better year? Him or Kyler Murray this year? Because they're both going to be, you think Kyler Murray, right? I think Kyler Murray, whenever he's healthy, he kind of finishes as a top 10 guy. But so does Brock Purdy. I think they're both going to be right there, and they're both drastically down low is my point.
Yeah, I'm also hearing Kyler Murray might not be starting.
I think Kyler Murray.
I'm not a big Kyler Murray believer.
I'm not huge into him either, but I think Kyler Murray probably starts. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I've always said I always hate that mentality. Well, if Kyler Murray starts, and that's going to hurt J.J. McCarthy. Like, as a Giant fan, I want to bring Winston back, and I want Winston and Jackson Dart to play for that starting lineup, right? And I want Harbaugh to play the best player available. We saw what Winston was capable of doing. We saw what Jackson Dart's capable of doing. They're both capable of lighting up the scoreboard. And that's all I care about. Yeah. I don't want a game manager as my quarterback anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I want a guy that picks everywhere, but I want a guy that I know when it's there, he'll take his shot down the field.
Another little implication from Harbaugh. You saw Mr. Leatherface when he blew his face up with fireworks, whatever. Njoku got signed to the Chargers. Yeah, 1 year, $8 million deal. That's bro. I'm telling you, I'm really excited about their offense. Now, maybe it's a year early, okay? Because these are those things. It might be a year early, but with McDaniels running that offense, you got the kid Gadsden.
Now that's what I was going to ask you. Who gets drafted first in fantasy, Njoku or Gadsden?
Well, I mean, I would probably imagine Gadsden, or I mean Njoku, just because he seems like he's going to have that end zone prowess.
Yeah,
I think Mike McDaniels looks at him and his underutilization, and he's way too talented. I think that he definitely steps in and becomes one of the top tier receiving threats in the end zone. Like he's going to be a specialist for the end zone. You already got Hampton hammering the ball, and then you get, I think Ladd has a crazy year this year. I think it was a year early on him last year. He still was okay. But I remember telling you, I think he's got games in him where he's got 200 yards, like receiving in games. I remember telling you that early on. Never came to fruition. And I think that was because of the scheme. I don't think it had anything to do with him. I think this is going to be the year you're going to see a lot of catches from McConkey, and I think he's going a little bit low. You're going to get some value on him as a receiver. He's like in that third roundish, maybe fourth round sometimes, like dropping, which is crazy for catch monster like that. But I think this only helps him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Harbaugh and McDaniels get along. I've already heard some rumblings, like not negative rumblings, but just rumblings like Harbaugh's kind of like in shock on how much sophistication comes with McDaniel's offense. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that at all in a negative way. Like, like Harbaugh's like, I'm learning things every day, which is crazy to think like Harbaugh,
McDaniels,
who played quarterback in the NFL. You know what I mean? And
you can just see him hitting the pin. So on this play, everyone just goes, just rip it.
McDaniels is back where he's in a position where he's most comfortable.
California.
And not running the entire team, just running the offense.
And let's be real, man. Like, I think he probably adds a degree of sexiness as well as a degree of danger to that, which they really needed because they seem to have all these pieces in place. And I'm high on a few pieces of that offense and definitely want a piece. I'm not saying I want in on Herbert, and this might be the year that he finally comes and does what everybody expects him to do, but everything else that's around him, it's all in place.
The Chargers finally win a playoff game this year?
It's all in place. Well, we'll see about their defense. We'll see if they can stay healthy because they seem to have this bugaboo. And like last year, their offensive line was decimated. And it was, a bad game against the Patriots where it looked uncompetitive because they just had in like me and TJ playing offensive line for him, just getting blown away. Like it's not,
I think
a conducive environment.
In that division, the Raiders aren't there yet. It's okay. In that division, the Raiders aren't there yet, and then the Chiefs are still. I think, they'll always be the Chiefs, but I don't know.
Well, Mahomes has kind of lost his appeal, but do you think Kenneth Walker gives them the degree of like, I guess, of that running game that they've been lacking for the last 4 years? You think he gives them that element that is going to get them over the top?
Yeah, I mean, you can't count him out. And like, can we see a dynamic where Kelsey has a big year for a tight end? I'm saying 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. I can see that. Or 8 touchdowns. I can see Kenneth Walker having a big year. Rajee Rice looked great when he came back, right? And then, it just kind of got weird over there in Kansas City late when they were.
Their receivers have just been a miss. 1 year, it looked like it didn't matter who Mahomes threw the ball to. And then the last few years, nobody is catching the ball for Mahomes. Obviously, last year he ran a lot for their first 7 games. He led their team in rushing. You know what I mean? Something like that. You're not going to see that this year.
Yeah,
you're not going to see Mahomes with his legs.
Game.
It will be a Kenneth Walker type thing. I think this is an Andy Reid renaissance when it comes to those running backs. We've seen a little magic from early on when they had, CEH or whoever, and before then it was always running back predicated. Jamal Charles was a darling for many years, and I think Kenneth Walker steps into a major role and just dominates for them.
I could see the Rajee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton kind of working out. And somehow it's, Andy Reid's offense has always been, it's always creative. It's always everyone always thought, oh, Mahomes loves to throw downfield. Andy Reid wants the ball in and out of your hands quick, right?
He does.
And then set up the short game. And then, if something's deep, obviously broken play, stuff like that. But a lot of throws that why Mahomes was so good for so long was it was hike, pop, get it out within a second or two, and, get the blockers ahead of the receiver.
Well, you can never get Mahomes off the field because you're so worried about the tight end. Then you're so worried about these receivers. And then all of a sudden he's just scrambling for 6 yards to the sticks to get you a first down. Like he's just he's such a nuisance when he's healthy because you never get him off the field. And they have Andy Reid calling plays. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than when Patrick Mahomes has like a 3rd and 5 and you're on defense because you're just
Oh.
first of all, you know that they'll probably go for it if they get 3, but there's just so many options. And
do you
Patrick
think
Mahomes and those guys,
like he's still going as like the 8th quarterback? I mean, like, is this the year that disrespect ends? You know what I mean? Because you're going to get a value on Mahomes, and this is the year to get a Mahomes combo on the cheap and get a Rice a little bit lower and get a Mahomes or get a Walker if you want to invest in that offense because he'll be kind of higher up, and then grab a Mahomes late type thing. You don't have to invest too much into him, but this is one of those years. If you're going to give him Mahomes stat line, you think he throws 30 touchdowns? I do.
yeah,
I think he's got 30. I think, does he
I
throw
don't think-
4,500 yards? I think he throws 4,500 yards.
I don't think
4,500
Patrick Mahomes will ever miss the playoffs again.
That's a bold statement. Thinking that Denver and the
Let's
Chargers
go
are most
right
likely
here,
gonna be there.
StreamYard, clip it, book it. Let's make one of those cute little AI trailers that you're talking about. Absolutely. All right. You think Mahomes never misses the playoffs again with Kenneth Walker? That's a good statement. It's a good statement.
After
It's a
the
hot
way
take.
last year ended, like they were bad. Like they didn't just miss the playoffs by 1 or 2 games. They were bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why
that was a
Mahomes-
wake up call for the Chiefs.
But the Chargers are up, the Broncos are up, Raiders are.
I think
they're
the
trending.
reason why
I think that division
Mahomes-
gets 3 playoff teams for sure.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, now you're starting to get crazy because look,
There's a lot of teams out of the West.
you think the
man.
Patriots make the playoffs, Rob?
Patriots are definitely
I-
they should
I
be
don't
there.
know.
Them and the Bills.
Yeah,
should be
but
right
I don't
there.
think they win their division.
Okay,
I think
then-
they're a wild card team.
let's just hear this out then. So if you say
There's 3. He's got 3 on the board from the West. Patriots is another.
then the Bills, obviously.
Bills
That's 5.
Yeah. So then the Ravens,
6.
the Bengals, or the
Mhm.
Steelers, and then you have Jacksonville. There's just a lot of teams, you know.
I think the North only gets 1 team this year.
Fair enough.
You think it's the Ravens?
Probably.
I can tell.
But
tell.
I see where you're going though. There's a lot of talented teams.
There's a
No,
bro,
and
and
Rob,
then you're not
I
even
agree.
talking about the South.
And then the
'cause you know
South,
that-
you got the
the Texans,
Jaguars,
Jaguars.
the Texans.
right.
I could be honest with you. Yeah, and Rob, I know what you were saying there. Too. You said it really before, like completely thinking it out. Trust me, I do that all the time, so I know. But you're right. But you're right though, because the Chargers, the Chiefs.
And the Broncos should
Broncos.
be all winning records.
Now, I do think that the Broncos might be the 3rd best team in that little thing, but the Broncos have such a good defense too, and that's why it's
So what's
tricky.
up with RJ Harvey? Because he's not the dude. And Dobbins is still there, and they got somebody else. And like Harvey was he was the last man standing last year, but he's not who we thought he was being drafted as. He is a change of pace, backup running back who's going to get you 40 to 60 catches, and he's going to get you 700-800 yards of offense. Could be, a few hundred in receiving, a few hundred in rushing, but he's not the goal line back, and he's not the first down back.
Okay, I'm not ready to say RJ Harvey's not that guy, but yeah, he didn't like come in and just.
I'm just saying this is what they told us through the draft. That's all. Because
Yeah.
they went and they got somebody else, and she's climbing behind you. So
Yeah, I know.
it looks like she's about to go up.
Like trying
But no,
to-
it's awesome.
Look
But
at
yeah,
her
he does.
light right in her eye. That's good for
Yeah,
her.
it's where
Yeah.
were you the night of 14th?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like one of those things when you see that offense. I was more sold on Harvey last year than I am just looking at it right now, going into it kind of not optimistically, kind of cautiously.
Yeah, I mean, fantasy wise, who knows? Rob, you think the Steelers? I mean, Steelers, they're.
I know he's tweaking right now, right?
Pittman, Metcalf, Jalen Gainwell's gone, but you got Dowdle, right?
Yeah, they got
We
down
brought in Rico Dowdle.
and
That's a
Warren.
We got Michael Pittman Jr. to go next to DK.
You imagine being Jalen Warren and you're like, oh, they got rid of Gainwell. This is all me.
Yeah.
Oh, they got Rico Dowdle. Oh, God, I'm in the same
can't
boat.
put
This
up-
guy ran 200 yards back-to-back games last year.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, you don't put up.
God.
You don't put 200-yard games up back to back coincidentally and not be a freaking star.
You know who's really going to benefit from that? Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard is going to be a value this year. He's one of Bub's darlings. Let me just tell you right now. Tony Pollard is on my radar.
Why is that?
He's just going to be a lot of first down looks in an offense that's ascending a little, and he's going to be somebody who's being grossly underdrafted as a number one running back. I think that he's definitely going to be able to get you. He's going to be close to 1,000-yard rusher and some touchdowns, man. And I think that whenever you're looking at the way running backs go so high in this draft, when you're looking at Tony Pollard, you're going to be like, he's still there. All right, Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
And you're going to be happy with that.
Who's the RB1 in Pittsburgh? Is it Dowdle or is it Jalen Warren?
I think you probably give it to Dowdle early back, and Warren's your change of pace.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Rico.
I
feel like the Steelers just set themselves up for another.
Or are they going to do what they do in Atlanta, and where they're going to give Rico 2 series, they're going to give Warren 2 series, and they're just going to keep, instead of going down by down, they're going to go series by series. Maybe they do that more. Maybe they run. If I were the Steelers, I would run a lot more Jalen Warren on as a receiver with Rico Dowdle in the backfield, or I would have Rico Dowdle really pushing in that fourth quarter to grind you down, because he's a grinder, and you would also have the ability to use Jalen Warren in a lot of slot routes or have him run a lot more, because you're lacking receivers.
You know, the Steelers love their checkdowns. Well, we'll see.
You should have them both.
We'll see how it looks with
McCarthy. Smart, right?
With McCarthy running the show now, we'll see how it looks. But the Steelers love their checkdowns.
Yeah. Also, Rob, I thought something you said last year that I thought was very interesting about Aaron Rodgers. First of all, I'm saying this first, then I'm going to go back to what you said. He has not lost a step. He hasn't lost any arm strength, Aaron Rodgers, right? He threw like the furthest ball last year against Cleveland in the NFL. So his arm strength is exactly the same as it was 10 years ago. He is just as accurate, right? You don't lose accuracy as you get older. But what Rob said, what I thought was interesting, is that Rob said Aaron Rodgers is scared to get hit, and he doesn't hang in the pocket as long. Remember when you said that, Rob? And I thought that was a really good point, because I noticed
he used to late shuffle a lot early.
Yeah, and he used to like do a lot of like really clever stuff with his feet. And I understand the one thing when you get older is you can't run for first downs as much. Brady didn't have to run for first downs to win championships at that age. But I did notice after Rob said that, he said it like half through the season. And then I started watching him, and I was like, it's kind of true. It's just like, you know what I mean? As a quarterback, sometimes you get it out quick. Sometimes you let it hang in there. But like,
don't you feel like he's stuck in the backfield because his receivers just aren't getting open? You know what I mean?
That's
Like
part of it.
I mean, that's definitely part of it.
But now you got like Dowdle and Warren, right? You got Pittman, Metcalf, Freiermuth. I mean, not much change here. Calvin Austin's gone, but Austin was.
They still got Smith. Y'all still got Smith.
I mean, I think the biggest thing, well, the lack of talent at receiver is definitely a problem. Our receiving core just wasn't good.
I told you, you guys just got to go 3 tight ends and put out Jonnu, put out Freiermuth, and put out that kid Darnell Washington I'm in love with, or whatever his name is, and let them all just like be the big goon line, DK Metcalf, and just throw jump balls, bro, because Aaron Rodgers is the best.
Yeah, but that works on video games. It doesn't work always.
Just, I mean,
even with the talent, I just don't like the scheme. We just haven't ran good offense. We don't run good plays. Our offensive scheme is bad.
I'm telling you, TJ, you go out there and you organize that offense, and you put out Rico and Warren, and you put out those bigs with DK and another receiver, whatever. I think that's more than enough for them to not only get open, to be able to pound the ball. Nobody's going to be able to stop you because you're bigger than everybody. I don't know why they just don't size up, man, because they have all the pieces. And I feel like every time we see them, it's this super generic, like single back look with like 2 receivers.
Exactly right about that. It's
so generic, bro. Like, put out some receivers. Like, give Aaron Rodgers some options. You know, Aaron Rodgers probably like, just give me 5 wide. Fuck it. Just let me go out there and make my own decisions. And I feel like it's just never enough. And it's like
Yeah,
he's
Gene's
always
asking, is Joe Newback? Buff was asking that too. Yeah, I don't know if like he didn't move the needle when he was there last year. What do we care if he's there this year?
because they're not putting him out there.
He
They
was
haven't even
awful.
put out the offense.
Jonnu was awful last year.
Yeah,
Terrible.
But
especially in that
John
playoff
game.
game.
It's not. I don't think he lost a step, bro.
Oh no, I definitely think it's the scheme. You're just putting your players in the wrong positions.
but let me ask you something.
We just didn't use them well.
You don't think Rodgers is designing a lot of these plays? And hold on, is Rodgers officially back at Pittsburgh or no?
It's not official, but it's like unofficially official.
It's getting late in the day.
Well, what's the holdup still? I mean,
I don't even know what's going on with this dude.
Is he still on ayahuasca chilling in Maui? Like, what's he?
They said he was in Pittsburgh. I think he was in Pittsburgh a couple of days ago.
I sure hope so, bro. And my God, like him and McCarthy already had a thing. This is the opportunity for them to just like collab, put it down, old ideas, new ideas. Look at the scheme, look at the offense, look at the personnel.
Like
right?
If you're gonna play, you got to be completely bought in. I don't like the way he handled the offseason last year. He didn't even come to the team until like what, July?
Yeah. And he would throw his receivers under the bus a lot too.
You need to be like, you need a full offseason with your team, with your receivers, with your whole offense.
Not even just one offseason. You need a couple, because there is something, as we're talking about the Knicks, cohesion, chemistry, all those plays, what it is, every time it's a crucial moment. What are you doing? Who's doing what? What is the nuance of every little move? And like the art and the complication of route running nowadays is so different, because it's all about your leverage and where you're supposed to go depending on the defense and ins and outs. And Aaron Rodgers and every other quarterback will throw the ball where they know you're supposed to be, and that receiver has to be thinking the exact same thing. And that's why Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson were just so disgusting, is because he could just read exactly where Aaron Rodgers knew he was supposed to be, and you would just get all that production, which is just lacking, because you see a lot of balls you see Aaron Rodgers doing a lot of this. Well, you're supposed to be over there. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be over there, or like pointing. It's like, it's chemistry. That's the time that you need with your team in those moments.
Especially with the new head coach coming in.
Yeah, the Steelers, I don't know. It's feeling a little stale to me. It's the players are there. It sounds exciting. I definitely agree with what you're saying, Buff, when it comes to, as a quarterback, very rare does any quarterback come in and do what Brady did with the Bucs, just blow up and win a Super Bowl. It usually takes time. And
Brady had like a perfect roster in Tampa.
But now Rodgers, he's going back to Pittsburgh, new coach, new offensive coordinator, I'm assuming, right? Can't be that.
No, I think we kept Arthur Smith.
Oh, geez.
And that's the problem. Is like that's it right there. And until we can look ourselves in the mirror as a franchise,
maybe I'm mistaken.
And you need to text your boy right now, Omar, and be like, bro, what the fuck's up with Arthur Smith? You know what I mean? What's up with this guy? I got Buff over here drawing up Madden plays with your 3 tight ends, your running backs, and he's over here blowing out your division. I don't know what's going on.
Even with Arthur Smith running the show now, I don't think the coordinators in Pittsburgh ever really had that much of a role, to be honest. And I say that because every time we fired the DC or fired the OC and brought in somebody new, it still looked the same. Everything looked the same.
Bro, the Roonies have a reputation that I wish the Cowboys had, to let people who played football make football decisions. Like, let's bring them in. The Steelers have always been valued because of this. They always had in the right personnel and the right coordinators. All of a sudden, mediocre Mike's gone, right? And everyone wanted his head. He's gone now. And now what's the team supposed to do? They continued to overachieve with a bad roster. And now, are they going to be able to do it again with a different coach? You know what I mean? Like, because your roster is supposed to be there, but you haven't ever gotten anything out of them these last few years. It's been a real tough 10 years with just having players that were good. I mean, honestly, since the Le'Veon Bell thing, it's just been a disaster, right? Like, since Le'Veon, it's been really tough. You've had some appearances, and I feel that you could never put down what was supposed to be on paper. Like it never translated from what was on paper onto the field.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
The
And
last
here we are
time that I
again.
realistically thought the Steelers could contend was probably 2018.
That's crazy, you know,
Yeah.
because like we're over here wasting Hall of Fame careers like TJ Watt and stuff like this, and people, you know, people's career and longevity matters.
Like,
You only get so many of these rushes.
They'll win 10 or 11 games, but you know they're not going to do anything once the playoffs come.
Well, the Bengals, like TJ said it, bro, the Bengals and Ravens are looking good right now. And for the first time in, like, we can all remember, the Bengals went out and spent money. The Ravens just look like they're sticking to the plan. They got a new receiver. It looks like they're surrounding Lamar. Derrick Henry's coming back. You know what I mean? Lamar's going to be healthy this year.
Yeah, you guys are exactly right. I'm gonna have to book it because
no, it's all good, bro. I know we love football, man. You already know. You got any parting words, TJ?
Yeah, exciting game tonight. It's whoever wins this game probably wins the series, right? I know there's that crazy stat: Game 5 winners win like 80% of the time or something. So
pivotal Game 5. I'm on the Spurs bandwagon. I think he does some special things tonight.
It's gonna take a miraculous performance from Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards to beat this Spurs team tonight, but it's possible.
Rob, parting words?
Not much. We got a lot of shows coming on. Beats and Ballers was on last night. Sports Rants on tomorrow night. Weekend update, of course, Friday night. Rookies of the Year will be back next Monday. Prop Stars every Tuesday morning.
Yep. We'll keep blowing up the social media. Get everybody to like and subscribe. Get us out there. Prop Stars every Tuesday, y'all. Whenever it's football season, we even roll on Thursdays, man. Peace out. One love. Say hi to the family. Later, y'all.
Be good, guys.
Peace.